to the Buccanidiots podcast, motherfuckers!
Yeah, it's Slum National, underground thunder bounce and I stop the ground like a million elephants, a silverback orangutan. You can't stop a train. Who wants some? Don't come.
Buccanidiots.
I'll be there, but when I leave
We
there,
have a
better be a household name.
guest tonight. Special episode. None of your calls today. It's just me and the Loose Cannons Leprachaun in the building with King Idiot, your boy, Stank Bastard, Mr. Leprechaun. How you doing, bro?
Oh man, feeling great. Coming back after that big win against the Saints. First things first, fuck the Saints.
Fuck 'em.
Uh,
As Little Stank said so famously, which I recorded and then blasted out to Saints Nation. Was it last season or the season before last?
Last season.
Last season, yeah. It really pissed them off. They said all kinds of mean things about me and Little Stank, and it just made us stronger. And that's what that does. They feed us and they make us stronger. One of the reasons you're on here today is because you traveled into the filthy, disgusting den. You watched that game in person in New Orleans. How was that experience? First of all, how was it when you got there? Did anybody recognize you? Did anybody throw any shoes at you? What old ladies yelling obscenities at you on the streets? Tell me about your experience before the game.
Well, first things first, I want to remind you that I did invite you along. You missed out on quite a trip.
Yeah, I'm not welcome in that town. There probably will be a time that I make my way back into that stadium. But I've been advised by my security team and Sammer's security team that there are operatives out there that are always scrubbing the streets, and not for cleanliness, obviously, but looking for the three of us. I'm more recognizable than pretty much anybody in that city outside of Drew Brees' mole. So we, just for the purposes of safety and security, have decided to lay back here in the comfort in the confines. Like last year, we watched from a strip club. This year, undisclosed location. They don't know where we watched it at this year, and that's by design. So I had to politely decline, but you went because it's just what you do. You laugh in the face of fear. And you made it out safely, which is the best part about the whole thing. So anyways, tell me, how was it? How was your experience? How, just run through the whole deal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit maybe intimidated going in, but it all worked out in the end, as you see. First things first, I pull up to the Airbnb I had rented, and you just gotta imagine guys riding around doing their best impression of Devin White. Right, that's the first thing I see when I get there.
On horseback?
No kidding, horseback, man. You got guys riding around through the streets, man.
I can't blame them, man. You've seen the price of car insurance lately? I'm considering, buying a domesticated animal and riding it around town, because this shit is not even a joke anymore. But anyways, continue.
It's a part of the intimidation factor, man. It's a bit of lawlessness. Yeah. It was a cool experience. We pulled up. You notice I posted a couple pictures. The place that I was staying at looked like a daggum war zone.
Which most of New Orleans tends to look like. I don't know.
That's okay.
It's got a filthy charm to it. It's part of the draw for people who enjoy a little bit of grime. Almost reminded me, just like what you would expect it would have been like 300-400 years ago. And now that you're saying that guys were riding around on horseback there, just further adds to the lore of that place.
Well, yeah, the war zone thing kind of maybe even helped muster up extra, maybe you'd call it juice. Yeah. Because I was ready for war at that point.
No, I'm sure you got some juice on you in your Airbnb. You know,
Oh, yeah.
nobody cleans the filth out of that place. So all different types of juice, hundreds of DNA samples you're carrying back with you just from being in that environment.
Well, luckily, I'm kind of a low class guy, so I accept the filth.
As
I
am
really
I.
do.
That's why we're brothers, me and you. So you get to your Airbnb. I'm sure at that point you make yourself comfortable. You get out onto the streets. Go sample some of the food and beverage. How was that?
Next stop is the Cafe Du Monde, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
And I tried my best to keep the powdered sugar out of the beard here.
No, you got to get messy with that. You got to get messy with it. The beignets, worth the trip. Although last time I was there, I heard that the people of New Orleans no longer own that. They sold it to the Chinese. We're not going to get political on this podcast, but how dare you? How dare you sell the one of the staples of your city to a foreign investor? How dare you? And I'm sure the people there weren't too happy about it anyways. But how was it? Did you enjoy it? How many did you eat?
I ate one, and it was very enjoyable. That's one thing that you're not going to hear me knock here, is the food was enjoyable.
Nor should you. The food there is enjoyable. Anybody who's been there likely would agree. What else? What other types of delicacies did you partake in?
The very next thing is we went up to the bar, and I had my favorite, the rums. I had plenty of rum and cokes. Maybe a hurricane or two was thrown in there, a frozen one.
Yep.
On a hot day, something like that's pretty good. We walked on down to the next stop is the Bourbon, the beach on the Bourbon. And we tried to meet up with the What the Buck guys. We met a couple of What the Buck guys.
Was Old School in the building? Did you happen to run into?
I did not bump into Old School. I bumped into plenty of Bucs fans. We were rolling pretty deep on Bourbon Street, let me tell you.
Yeah, we've always got a contingency of fans that travel. I wish we were deeper. I wish we rolled like Philly rolled into our town, the other day. That would be nice. It's maybe at some point we build that type of atmosphere where we're rolling deep. Like we're going to be rolling deep in Green Bay, as you're aware, real deep, which is going to be a blast. But so you met up with the Bucs fans, and any confrontations? Anybody recognize you? Did you any threats? Anything crazy happening, or was it pretty low key?
On the first night, it was pretty low key. Besides your chirp here and there.
Yeah.
Walking down the street, especially when I was taking my pictures, with the Bourbon Street signs and stuff with the Bucs gear. There was
anybody yell at you? We're not your rival. Did anybody yell at you?
No. Really, there was honestly not a second thought about the Bucs. Kind of like what they preach. It really was on the first night. On the first night, that's how I felt.
Day before the game?
The day before the game.
Okay. What changed? Tell us how did it change on the next day?
Well, the next day, we wake up nice and early and we head out to their the front of their stadium. Is called they call it the Champion Square.
Champions. Okay. Champions of what?
The Champion
Being
Square.
Terrible.
And the Champion Square, as soon as you get there, there's a smell that just comes over the place.
Feces, urine, vomit.
It's definitely of sewage.
Sewage. Yeah.
Sewage seems to be the popular smell going around the city.
Maybe that's what Jono's talking about when he says shit is more than a game. Maybe it's a way of life. Right? The odor, the bacteria, all of it. It's more than a game. It's just infused into the concrete and the stadium and the people, for that matter.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw a sticker on the back of the truck that read "Shit Life."
Shit life.
Kind of like how you see the Salt Life around here all the time. Yeah, they had Shit Life on all the back of all their cars.
Kind of like it, honestly. So you roll up, you're in the shit square, and you're starting to get surrounded by Saints fans and people dressed like circus clowns, painted up and with their glitter outfits and their brass instruments. What happened then?
I start to hear the chirping. Like I said, they start to come in with the talks about the "you're not rivals" and all that stuff. It starts hitting me as soon as I hit the front of the stadium.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys. Shout out to them for being a couple of the realest fans in there. They kind of cornered me in the bathroom, man. Don't go to the bathroom alone.
You got cornered by some Saints fans in the bathroom?
Oh yeah. And luckily it didn't come to blows or anything, but they cornered me in the
Maybe
bathroom.
They were looking for it to come to a different kind of blow, so
they wouldn't.
when you approach another man in the bathroom, you got bad intentions, and there could be all kinds of intentions. None of them are good though.
Right, but they wouldn't let me wash my hands. When it come down,
because they're against hygiene, bro. They're more offended. They were more offended that
you block.
Yeah, they were more offended that you were trying to clean yourself, probably, than the fact that you were there to support the Bucs. So it doesn't surprise me. Like, like, don't touch the soap. Instead of waiting for you to drop the soap, they just don't even want you to touch it there. So they cornered you in the bathroom. You're in the stadium. Any more altercations, any more run-ins, or did you get to your seat safely pretty much after that?
After that, there was no more altercations, but on the way to the seat, it's slowly, it's strange. As you go up in the Superdome, it's kind of like going down a deep, dark basement.
Yeah, that's my experience there.
It just gets like damp mold. No wonder you hate the place. We know how you hate mold.
I do hate it. I love it, but I hate it. Yeah, I mean, who wants it? Like, my experience in the Superdome, it kind of felt like what I would expect Chernobyl to feel like if you were to travel to Russia or Siberia or wherever that place is after the nuclear reactor spilled over. That's kind of what it feels like. It belongs in a different time. Like, there's something creepy about that facility. It just doesn't feel right. Feels unclean and in more ways than one.
So on the way up to the seats, it's as if climbing a mountain. It's so steep. I got the cheap seats. I'm a man of cheap seats. So I'm sitting in the end zone at the top, and it's as if climbing a glorious mountain on my way to victory. The seats are really that steep. And at the top, I'm greeted by a wonderful group of about 15 Bucs fans in the same spot.
Nice. The cheap seat dudes.
The cheap seat.
I like it. So you found a little Bucs haven, a little up there, and I'm sure the energy was good, and it probably stayed good. So, you get to your seats. Game's about to start. I'm sure they're out there
even before the game starts. The guys, they come out to do the warm-ups, and I swear to you, Baker looks up at me. We're like best friends.
Yeah.
He looks up at me and he gives me one of those winks that he does. A little crotch grab.
Baker does grab his junk a lot. Like, he's constantly adjusting.
That's when I knew that he had woken up feeling dangerous.
Yeah, it didn't seem from the interviews, especially the one after the game. He's like, it wasn't he heard about the rivalry. He heard that we hate the Saints, but to him it was like he wasn't fazed by any of it, by any of the trash talk. The Saints.
I'm telling you, man.
He brought a different. I feel like Tom was scared a lot of times when he played the Saints. He played like a little bitch, and he played scared quite often. Other than the playoff game, where at that point Tom rose, the defense carried us, and Tom rose above, and we got the biggest victory of Tom's career. He, in that place. But yeah, Baker, his dick energy just more than level the playing field. We rose above because of it. You agree?
Well, when it comes to the media, I feel like he puts on his karate face, Okay. A karate man, he bruises on the inside. He doesn't show his weakness.
You think he's like more Cobra Kai or LaRusso or whatever, which dojo do you think he would side with on the Karate Kid? Is he a Cobra Kai kind of guy, you think?
No. I think he's more of a
Miyagi-Do?
He's definitely more of a Eddie Murphy from Trading Places.
Oh, okay. He's none of the Karate Kid dojos. Okay. Continue.
So whenever the guys start to break up and we're about to get the game started, I'm sure you've all seen where they huddled up on the Florida penis.
On the Florida penis. Yeah, they got right on that little shrunken ass Florida penis. And we do what
y'all weren't the only ones to notice.
What dogs do. You know what dogs do, right? If you pee, I'm gonna go pee on top of your pee. That's what a dog does, bro. That's what an alpha dog does. And that's what we did. We peed on their pee.
The energy was through the roof. I mean, whenever the Bucs hit the field, there was a small cheer, and the Saints in our section was confused that there was cheers for the other team. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Those are Bucs coming out. It made me a little bit proud. A little tear came down.
So kickoff, the game starts. It's similar to at least for me, it felt a little similar to the Eagles game where offense wasn't really getting shit done. Defense was holding shit down. And then the floodgates opened. How did it feel once we started to get our momentum and our mojo working in that stadium? Did it quiet those Saints assholes?
Oh, yes, definitely. But I mean, you saw how the football goes, but as far as the stadium and the atmosphere goes,
yeah,
it's pretty awesome how they've got their fans in tune with the crowd noise, when and when not to be quiet. I mean, whenever the Saints are playing, you can hear a pin drop in there.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to cheer for. I mean, absolutely nothing to cheer for. I listen, I hate the Saints. I kind of felt bad. And it was halftime and I heard Saints fans booing. I for a little part of me was like, damn, this is about to get ugly. And did it. Listen, Antoine Winfield Jr. strips the ball right after Baker throws the pick. We strip the ball, get the ball right back. Could you see Saints fans just will break after that? Because it felt like after that there was no hope.
I was doing a little bit of shit talking, so I was worried about making it out of there after we started to kick ass. I'm gonna tell you the truth. When you
ratcheted up your shit talk after you had a few adult beverages and the Bucs are starting to roll and we're starting to put points on the board and you're ratcheting it up, did you feel that like they were even prepared for the shit talk in that stadium?
Oh no, sir. They wasn't ready for this leprechaun. Yeah, man. I'm telling you right now.
They're all talking. Because I can tell you what, and Latte and Sammer and everybody else will, who witnessed it, who bear witness. The more we got our ass kicked by the Saints in our home stadium, the more shit we talked. Like the worst it was like 30. How we lost 31 to not. What did we lose by that one season? Brady's first year. It was ugly.
Did we score a point?
Maybe.
Was that 3 points?
Yeah, I think it was 3. We just continued to talk shit, and it just got worse and worse and worse. As I felt worse about the Bucs, my shit talk got really, really, the story where I called, a lady some mean words because she tried to shit talk me. It's just I don't crumble under pressure. If anything, I get worse and I get not necessarily belligerent because I'm an adult, but I tend to ramp up my shit talk. But you're saying the Saints fans had nothing. They broke just like their team.
So it was like this. I don't know if you remember, but the first quarter was going back and forth.
Yes.
I was happy, but I was worried because they had went down the field on us on that first drive and scored the field goal.
Yeah.
But then I was really happy because after that, it seemed like they locked them down. It's like, all right, the bend but don't break defense. You can score field goals all day long. We'll beat you with touchdowns. So
what are some of the things you heard from Saints fans as we started to score and hope left the building? Did you hear anybody complaining? What were they saying about their team?
We fucking suck. It was a common thing. Really, honestly, there wasn't many fans left to say anything.
Oh, they didn't stick around.
The place emptied out with
they pulled
5 minutes left.
They pulled a Devin Garnett and they left.
It's funny you said that because that's the first guy I called whenever the place started to empty.
He's never going to live that down ever.
But on the first drive, right, or on the first drive that we scored, we're going down the field, and it was a bit of a mix-up. And in the stadium, you weren't even sure if the Bucs had scored or not because the stadium announcer is so in tune with Saints only. They tried their best to absolve any Bucs points. If they're going to wait until the last second, and then they might not even announce the Bucs points.
Was it one of those things where the announcer's like,
he doesn't even mumble, my guy.
Baker to Palmer.
No, he doesn't even mumble. They do not talk about the Bucs at all. They don't talk about the Bucs. So we figured out that the Bucs had actually scored, and I thought I'd help the guy out. So I yelled out, I said, just to make sure everybody knows, the Bucs scored a touchdown there. And I got a few popcorns thrown at me at that point.
Yeah. Why waste good popcorn, when you're hurt?
But that's when I started to notice the silence that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right after that touchdown, I was able to yell. So we're getting a little bit further into this ass whooping. And whenever the Saints start to gain a little bit of momentum, I'm starting to notice the things that this fan base does to create their dome stadium home field effect.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, I'm a bit of a spy like that. I like to go in and pull the bits of information. They are definitely ones to use noisemakers, which to my understanding is illegal in the NFL. You are not supposed to bring in noisemakers.
Like what? Like they're pumping in crowd noise?
Not only that, but the fans are armed with whistles and other noise making things.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, sir. And that's a thing that I was pretty sure would get you thrown out of a place like Raymond James.
Yeah, we don't have to pull shady tactics to win championships like they do. No,
what it is,
and all that.
What it is our fans got to stop turning each other in, man. We got to, if you can't beat them, join them, man. We got to bring in our noisemakers now. So
what you're saying is we should cheat as well.
Another word for a cheater is a winner.
Sometimes. I mean, I've heard, the old cliche, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. By the way, they cheated quite a bit. The reason that game started off slowly for us is because the refs were obviously, just trying to boost them. We're like, come on, Saints, this is a home field advantage.
Laundry all over the place.
Yeah, the script was in their favor, and they still couldn't take advantage of it.
We, as the fans in the stadium, were confused most of the game, and it just wasn't from the alcohol. At one point, the announcer who, like I said, was ignoring anything Bucs, yelled out to the crowd that it was the old third down, right? It's a third down. We had gotten a first down. So when everybody had quieted down, I made sure that they knew that we just gotten a first down.
And the stupidity just fills even the media room, the announcers there. Yeah, I mean, you're not talking about the smartest people there. You know, I know that you have some ties to the area, but you rose above that, or your family did, and you got the hell out of there, and that makes me proud of you. So we get the victory, right? We get the victory. The stadium empties out.
I'm heading through the stands with my Bucs flag.
Okay. And you're making your way down?
Yes, and I'm talking shit to the guys on each side. And I'm thinking
children,
I'm having
old ladies, you talk
everybody's
getting it. Yeah.
Mostly I'm telling them things like, hey, what's going on, man? I thought you said this place was loud. I'm gonna need you guys over here to keep it down. You're being too loud.
Yeah.
that was one
they
of my
probably
favorites.
Have their fist all balled up and like racking fucking, you know, they were cursing you out under the breath.
Started to get worried when one of the cats got up and got a little bit swollen and told me, you better keep it moving, pal.
With the old New Orleans type of accent.
Yeah, something like that.
You better keep it moving, pal. That sounds like the old 1920s. Scram, kid.
It made me think twice about coming back up that section, though. Every time I left, I would come back up a different section.
Well, just like our quarterback, you decided to live dangerously, or you woke up feeling dangerous, and you just went at him. And I'm proud of you for that. You represented. So game's over. Your game's ending. You're making your way down. Did you get like lower bowl by the team at all, or do you stay?
No. Way up at the top.
You're still up in the
I'm way up at the top. This is the top. The party is up at the top. I'm telling you, you can't get nothing thrown on you.
No, okay, that makes sense.
Here's another one of the noise tactics they use. Right, all along the back rows of every back row is aluminum paneling that they bang on. Bang, bang. Right, so
it's childish.
Yeah, well.
Cheating.
I tend to enjoy it. I really did. I enjoyed it whenever.
Well, I mean, yeah. Once we're dominating and you're the only ones in the stadium making noise, that sounds enjoyable.
Whenever the Bucs would score and they'd hear the banging of the aluminum behind them and turn back to see that it was a little Bucs leprechaun doing all the banging. Beautiful. I saw these eyes of envy looking up as I looked down. It was really great. I'm telling you guys, I invited you.
Yes.
I invited Poppy.
Yep.
I invited Sammer. I invited Pewter. The list goes on, man.
PNP.
I'm telling you.
Well, it may be time to crew up and go to New Orleans. As long as we hire private security, because they found my house. They came after me. Like they want my blood. They want my guts. I'm sure I'll get cursed there. They'll probably try to bury me alive in one of their raised up, coffins. I'm not a well-liked person in that city, and I get it. I wouldn't like me either. But yeah, there will come a point where I will travel with my family, and we will dance on their graves. Just like you were dancing on their graves.
That's what's happening right now, right? So I'm walking out of the stadium and we're dancing. It sounds just like Ray J had a walk-off win. We've got the Tampa Bay chant going on down the escalators.
Yeah.
You got beers. You got back slapping. It's a party all the way to Bourbon Street, and that's what I told him. I said, "We're taking this to Bourbon Street. Everybody follow me." And we headed out.
Here's the part of the story that gets interesting. All right. I know a lot of people saw it. National media picked it up. It kind of went viral. you're walking out of the stadium. I'm assuming down one of the streets surrounding the stadium potentially, or as you're coming to Bourbon Street, and you see a dumpster fire. And I'm not talking about the team that we just lit on fire. Maybe there were a few members of the team that jumped into the dumpster. Tell me about you just randomly coming upon a dumpster, walking up and finding an actual dumpster fire. How'd that happen?
I got to tell you, when I saw the dumpster fire, my dick got hard.
As it should have.
And just the same thing that every single one of you probably felt. You were like, no way Leprechaun just walked around the corner to say there's a damn dumpster fire going on here.
Do you think, is there any chance that Jameis Winston's interception caused that dumpster fire? I mean, you talk about poetry. If you couldn't end a Saints loss any better than them bringing in Jameis, and then he threw, and I know you're a Jameis guy, or you're a Florida State fan, unfortunately. But it was kind of funny. You have to admit.
Oh, it was one of one. Yeah,
it was one of one. Pewter Report with an amazing tweet. It was one of one. Yeah, man. So do you think there's a possibility that interception caused that fire, or was it just overall? Maybe like that's a daily occurrence in that city. What do you think?
Well, I wasn't there to witness the actual occurrence, but there was one lady who was expressing her how she felt about it, and she was pretty sure that it was a white man in a Bucs uniform.
Okay,
because that's all she had to say was,
well,
it was the damn white Bucs fans that had come to town.
Well, I mean, they're going to blame it on whoever they have to take the blame off of them, which is very typical Saints fan, very typical New Orleans. They're never going to point the finger inward. Although I'm starting to see a lot of Saints fans being honest with themselves. I think this loss really broke them.
So as
a part of them part of them actually believed they were better than us and that they were going to run the division, and they bought into all the offseason talk about how we were going to win 2 games and they were the class of the NFC and all the hype machine. They bought into it, and I think we broke their spirits. What do you think?
It all culminated with the greatest party that I've ever had, man. I partied the night away on Bourbon Street. There'll never be another one like this. I really don't think there might be one, as good as it, but it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get.
That's amazing. So I'm assuming you were surrounded by your Bucs brothers and sisters, and did you just roll around the city and just, spread the Bucs chant? Like, how did that go?
Well, we took one of those haunted tours, and when we went to Pirate Alley, I made sure that it was now referred to as Buccaneer Alley.
I mean, that's what it should be known as, and now and forever shall be. And maybe next time we go there, we'll get a plaque or something, and we'll put it there just to solidify that's now going to be called Buccaneer Alley. So I gathered you were up until the sun, or out until the sun came up. And any other Bucs related stories you want to share with us, about this incredible trip?
Just the juice that was brought, man. We got to keep up the juice.
We do. I think hopefully Bucs Nation, Bucs fans learned from the Philly game, because I'm still a little salty over that, to be perfectly honest with you. The showing, the embarrassment of having the stadium full of opposing fans. I hope that this is the last season we see that kind of thing, because I think some of that has to do with the fact that they forced people who weren't really Bucs fans, who were just Tom Brady fans, to buy season tickets. So they just sold off all their tickets because they didn't want to come back this year. I'm hoping that's what it is, but we shall see, because I know we have a strong fan base. I know we do. And for whatever reason, going to the games isn't a priority for a lot of Bucs fans. They just rather watch it at home or throw cookouts or whatever they do. But it's unfortunate because it really fucks us in the end, and our players deserve better. And the Glazers need to do a better job of policing and patrolling our fan base to make sure that those seats are filled with Bucs fans, because I know there's a lot of Bucs fans who would love to go to games. And so we're 3-1. We're going into a bye. Let's just talk a little bit about the team before we end this. How are you feeling overall? What's your impression of the team so far?
Super pumped about the team. As far as the fan base goes, we gotta teach them more of the intricacies of the routines as a fan. Whenever we go to stadiums, you've got to group up on the visitor side. That's what it's there for. I noticed that on our whenever we have games,
opposing fans in our stadium
that are flooded with opposing fans.
Yeah,
they're loaded up behind that bench, and at some points they're louder than the other side of the stadium.
Yeah. Well, I get it. I've heard all the excuses. Tampa's a vacation destination. People want to come here, and all those things are true. But those seats that they're sitting in are Buccaneers season ticket holder seats, and so there's no excuse.
Yeah,
sorry. Maybe in a blowout type loss where those fair weather fans get up and leave after the third quarter or whatever. If it's one of those things where the fans from the upper deck come down and fill those seats, yeah, that's going to happen in any stadium. But to have it full of the opposing fans the whole entire game is just it just shows where our fans' loyalties lie, or at least the ones that spend the money in that stadium. So I'm not going to shut the fuck up about it because it sucks. And I remember years ago, Steve Dumig used to rail against Tampa fans for not supporting their team when wherever they came from's team is in town, like to drop their allegiances and to whatever teams they grew up with and support the local team. I guess it's a little bit of a stretch, but at least raise your damn kids to be Bucs fans, even if you want to still support your old fans, whatever, man. People are tired of hearing about it, and I'm tired of talking about it. But anyways, let's just end this with some positivity, man. We just beat the Saints. We just broke the Saints, in my opinion. I have a feeling, they're walking into a bee's nest up in New England this week, because New England is circling the drain. It's going to be a circle in the drain fest, and hopefully we continue to see them spiral and just maybe they're the team that gets 2 wins this season, and we roll to coast to a division championship. That's what I'm hoping, anyways.
Well, that's a part of the reason why you guys are my boys, man. You always speak for me. There's really no reason for me to ever add in, because we agree with almost everything.
Yeah, and often things I say make no sense, and you love to call me out on that, and you should, right? I can't type correctly. My talk to text is against me, and sometimes my thoughts don't come out good.
Yeah, no, the Saints. I feel like they're definitely broken. Yeah. We're on top of the division.
We are.
Just like the shit that you saw them talking. The division comes through us. And,
it does.
And even the year that we won the Super Bowl, even though we didn't win the division that year, it still came through us, and everybody knew it, man.
I think they knew it. They weren't ready for what we brought. Clearly, we retired their God and Breeze, and we just we slowly have been dismantling everything that they've been about. Right? They had their run. It was a good one. They fell short. It was great to see them just fail in every way possible, and you know,
And that's
now
what this trip was all about.
Yeah,
man.
now
And that's
now
what you
it's
guys
over.
missed out on, man.
Yeah,
That's
but you
what
were there to represent, man. And sometimes we got to live vicariously through each other. And I live vicariously through you out there. Our energy is in you, and you went out there and represented. And that's how it's got to be. Sometimes, you know, your brother's not going to be by your side. You got to represent for him. And you are a shining example of everything a Bucs fan should be. And I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm glad you went out there and gave them a little bit of medicine. That's why I wanted to have you on, man, because you represent. And we've got a lot of fans who represent that just aren't heard. And you know, I plan to hopefully give them a voice through Buccanidiots. I know I'm not very consistent with the show, but I try to be. And you know, man, I'm glad to have you on. It's past due. And I don't know, you probably didn't watch the last episode to the end because of technical difficulties. In fact, my studio got zapped. I had to release it on Twitter, but I ended the show with little Stank holding the flag. And that's how I intend to end every episode from here on out, is little Stank standing in the streets during a hurricane, holding the flag, representing for the Loose Cannons, for the Bucs, and for Stank people of all over the world.
That's right, man. That's what it's all about. It's nothing but Bucs family here. It is. The Bucs family is growing, and that's what your subconscious mission really is, man. That's what it is. You're trying to grow this fan base, just like you were complaining about on the last segment. You're doing your part in order to grow this.
And I'm spreading the message of fuck the Saints, and it really, it's bigger than that, as our friend Jono would say, right? The shit's more than a game. Fuck the Saints is a mantra. It's a battle cry. You know, every week we play the Saints in my mind, right? Every week it's fuck the Saints. And that just it's us against them. And that's how fandom should be.
They shouldn't fight it. It's healthy to have rivalries. They complain about not being able to have more than one rivalry.
No, the truth of the matter is,
I grew up watching college. All college teams have more than one rival.
The truth of the matter is there's no rivalry between Atlanta and New Orleans. New Orleans has the upper hand, and that's what they want. That's what they like. They like being the one with the upper hand. That's why they want to talk shit to Atlanta, because ultimately they've had the last laugh, so they get to continue to shit on Atlanta fans, but they can't shit on the Bucs because we have the upper hand. That's why they don't want to acknowledge us. But that's okay. We're forcefully making them acknowledge it. Trust me, they acknowledge it on my timeline and on Bucs Twitter all day long. And the more you deny something, the more it becomes true. And we are a part of building these rivalries, right? It's not just shit talk. This is fun for me. And I've got a lot of friends. I've made a lot of friends because of it. And I will always do it until I'm 6 feet under, because it's fun. And I do it, and it's always fun. Win or lose, I'm gonna talk shit, and that's how it should be for everybody. If anybody takes a message here, that's just what you do. That's what makes sports fun.
Yeah, man. Even though you're my rivals, shout out to you Saints fans that kept it classy, man. Even the guys that wouldn't let me wash my hands.
Yeah, you need a villain, right? You got to have a villain, and they're the villain. So I hate them, but there's a part of me who loves them because I love to hate. I'm a hater, and they're just so easy to hate. They just feel like Voldemort. They just feel like every little blonde-haired villain in every movie. They just feel evil, and that's because they are. And
it's real, sir.
We're the good guys. They're the bad guys. All those things. All those stereotypical things. It's true. They're bad. We're good, and we're better than them. Hey, fuck the Saints. Go Bucs. Leprechaun. It's all love. You got anything else you want to say to the people? How they find you? How they follow you? Tell them not to be scared of you. To reach out to you. To come say what's up to you when they see you.
Yeah, man. I preach everybody love everybody. That's how I roll, man. LC Leprachaun on Twitter. You know, man. Fuck the Saints.
Fuck the Saints. Hey, like and subscribe. You see this phone number down at the bottom? Right now, you can get on your phone, call, and leave me a voicemail. Typically, I play voicemails on this podcast, and then I interact with the voicemails. If they're good, keep them to 60 seconds or less. Obviously, follow everything you see on Loose Cannons YouTube page, which is eventually going to be called the Loose Cannons Network. Salty, obviously, the Loose Cannons podcast. We got Big Tutties, the fantasy football show, and a whole lot more to come. So much love. Love you, Bucs fans. Fuck the Saints. We out.